All right, so today we were supposed to have a show with Henry Foster, the captain of UNC hockey. Well, yesterday, a graduate student at UNC shot a faculty member, and he said he didn't want to talk about hockey today. He didn't want to talk about a lot of stuff today, and I totally understand. The year before I came to UNC, and I ended up living on Henderson Street my last 2 years at UNC, a law student shot and killed a student and a resident of Chapel Hill, and he ended up getting pleaded not guilty, reason of insanity. So they shut down the campus. And I know my friend, I have friends I went to grad school with. They had a kid who was sequestered in a classroom yesterday and wasn't let out. It's scary, you know. I mean, and he's a young kid, Henry. You know, Henry's in his 20s. He's a senior in college, and I understand he doesn't want to talk about hockey today. And I said, you know what, dude? Call me if you need to talk. It's a scary thing. There were local kids' first day of school, and this is what they had to deal with. There were cops everywhere. They had the kid in handcuffs. Just a different world. We would get upset, and that would be that, and that's what happened. And just a fucked up world. That's all I got to say on that front. So I got your back. Send my love to everybody at the university, all the, you know, people living in Chapel Hill, Carborough, the areas around the university. You know, I talked to RK yesterday. He said he's 3 miles. It happened near the bell tower. The family, a faculty member killed by a student, over a grade or something? It's that bad that get that angry? The stress you're feeling that you have to kill somebody over that? Nah, that's when things are getting, we got to shut it down a little bit. A lot of shit going on in the world, a lot of shit going on in my life, a lot of shit going on in a lot of people's lives. And you got to take a step back and what's important. And you know what's important for me? Structure. And today always doing the podcast is important to me because I work on something around my training and stuff, and I get information. There's all this cut down today. And I was like, do I go crazy talking about it? No, you can't, because it's, you just can't. And I have to talk about the things that are interesting. Like Max Scherzer tribute video. The guy played 42 games with the Mets, 20-9 record, 42 games, and there was a tribute video, and they booed him. Of course they should. It's like the PC thing. Oh my God, he played a little bit for the team, so now let's have a tribute video. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Come on, guys. Seriously? A tribute video for Max Scherzer, who got paid $43 million a season and was complaining, and then threw the team under the bus. And afterwards said, things were good between him and Verlander, that they were fine. Well, if they were fine, why wouldn't you stay? So now you're at Texas. Congrats. They came back. They beat the Mets yesterday 4-3. After the Mets had a 3-2 lead, they blew it. But Tyler McGill had a season-high 8 strikeouts yesterday left after 5 innings of strong pitching. But they don't have a bullpen. And Bubbles talks to me about, spend money instead of Alonso on a bullpen. Great. You know what? Great. But who's out there? And, you can bring young guys up and everything. And yeah, I just can't get over a tribute video for Max Scherzer. I mean, they have so many holes, the Mets, and you're not going to replace a guy who can hit 40 home runs and knock in 120 RBIs every season. That's a guy you can't replace. Now, I know his average kind of sucks, and he's pretty good at first base, but power is power, and you need a guy in the lineup that can hit. Now, I know he's going to be 29, 30 by the time he gets that new deal. He's arbitration next season. That's over $20 million. And the Mets are going to, I guess everybody's open. And then Starling Marte got engaged, and his wife to be was straddling him in a picture he posted. I'm like, dude, that's the picture you post? And he's probably done for the rest of the season. That's the world today, man. People put up crazy pictures. That's what they do. I mean, everybody's showing everybody everything. And you're like, that's TMI. I don't need all that information. Great. You got engaged. You're over 30 years old. And 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds are acting like they're 12. And that's the world today, man. Social media. It was almost better growing up when we didn't have this stuff. You had to call somebody. Back in the 80s, you didn't have a phone to call somebody. Then we had pagers, and we thought that was something crazy. But if you wanted to see somebody, you called them. Or you went to see him. Or you hung out. You weren't inside all day playing video games and all that shit. You actually went out and you played all day. You played football all day, basketball. You just hung out with friends. You did whatever. You used to rent movies and watch them there. They had a section in the back for the pornos. And it was little, you had to go back to them, made you feel bad. But, you did it anyway because that's what you were experiencing. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, that was the world. Changed a lot. And they're great things. Technology is great in a lot of ways, but everybody's got their head in the goddamn phone all day. You know, I could be an influencer or whatever. I could post 10, 12 things a day. But I have a thing called organic. It's got to be organic with me. It's got to be feeling like I'm, you know, not forcing the issue. Now, I do the podcast, and that's cool. And I post all stuff around the podcast, put that up. But the rest of the stuff, people posting all day on every little thing that happens, gives you a headache. Gives you a big headache. And you see Tatis has cleats yesterday to honor his dad, who back on April 23rd, 1999, in the third inning for the Cardinals at the Dodgers, at a Dodger Stadium against Chan-Ho Park, hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning. And he did you can see the Post-Dispatch masthead is on the cleats, which is kind of cool. And it says, "Ain't Tatis grand?" I mean, that's pretty cool. The world today, that kind of stuff is cool. And he actually went 2 for 4 yesterday. They beat the Cardinals and the shitty Padres. Jason, they're shitty, and he knows it. 62-70. Cardinals improved to 56-76. And that was the 15th game of the season that year. But 2 grand slams in the third inning in the same inning. And he honors his dad 24 years ago. Pretty crazy, right? Yeah, 2 for 5 in that game with 8 RBIs. That's the picture I have for today's show. The Giants are releasing Jamison Crowder because Wan'Dale Robinson is coming off the PUP, the physically unable to perform list. They also released Tommy DeVito, Illinois quarterback, former Rutgers quarterback, 453 yards, 2 touchdowns preseason. Thank you, Jordan Schultz. Could end up with a practice squad. There's a lot of guys that got released that led the preseason in catches, rushes, all that kind, touchdowns with Trey Sermon, the former Ohio State running back for the Eagles.